Hello my friends, it's the 11th of November 2014, Mr. Max Bliss in the southwest of France, and this morning has been a very cloudy day. It's been completely blanketed and now it's just after lunchtime and we're suddenly getting a little bit of sunshine and the clouds are easing back a little bit, which is welcome. And what we can see is in some places we've got nice blue sky, we've got these patchy clouds, normal sort of stuff, and then we've got these chemtrails with frequency in them. Something's happening, and obviously you can look over there towards the sun. It's absolutely disgusting. There's obscuration happening there. There's obviously something in the upper atmosphere. We can see the lower clouds moving underneath this climate engineered, geo-engineered, covert climate forcing experiment going on right now. You can see there's a very thick trail there. That can only be a chemtrail. There are plenty of planes flying around not leaving trails at all today that I've noticed. Now we've got this gap. It's not all planes that are spraying, but there is certainly quite a few that are. So we've got the dedicated chemtrail fleets, or these co-opted planes which have the equipment on board to induce these contrails, spraying out these particles that are necessary for use with the electromagnetic frequency weapons. And they're altering the atmosphere, and they can force the climate, and yet this is denied. However, if you start to observe the skies, it's quite obvious. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't matter that we know our governments lie. God, anyone would have to be really naive to think that governments don't lie. They lie all the time, and they're lying about this covert program to force the climate. They're creating the symptoms. It's well known now through numerous studies that contrails and contrail cirrus, the artificial clouds that are created by aeroplanes, actually contribute to warming the planet. However, the IPCC have stated since 1997 there's been a pause in global warming. But that, coincidentally, is the time when people started to report about chemtrails. So is it not feasible to join the dots and say, they're inducing the contrails, and they're making these chemtrails in order to try and warm the planet, because that's the whole scam, you see. They want the global warming issue to become the biggest fear factor on the whole of the planet, so they can globalise all the people to believe that we need to take climate action plans, and that will include new carbon taxes, 500 new climate laws for 2015, cap and trade systems, a new UN climate treaty for 2015, and of course following that we've got the United Nations post 2015 agenda, which is the next phase of Agenda 21 to get the people of our planet to acquiesce to the new world order. This is what it's all about. It's about conning the people of the world to believe that there's a global threat. That's the global warming thing, all caused by man supposedly. You know, that's the Club of Rome and the Trilateral Commissions. That's their agenda, to convince the public that the humanity itself is the enemy to the planet. Well, that's all absolute hocus pocus. You know, it wasn't so long ago that we had extreme weathers because we have natural variants. You know, it happens. Like in 1895, there was a heat wave in the south of England that outstrips the heat waves that we have, that have been hyped up, you know, this last century. So there are lots of examples we can draw on to the past. The fact that the Vikings were living in Greenland for 400 years during the medieval warm period, where there's lots of scientific proof that it was a warmer period, but we didn't have any of the dire global warming meltdown scenarios that was pumped out there for fear. No, we didn't have any of those then. And the same with the Roman period. In fact, all the warmer periods of the past have been boom times for mankind. They've been the best times. Global warming has actually been, in the past, a really fortunate time for human beings. Food grows better, you don't have to worry about heating so much, so food is more abundant, and basically everything is much easier. So warming is good, cold is bad. Cold stops your crops growing, it's a problem for your livestock, has a problem for heating, all these sort of issues. You know, it's about time people started joining the simple dots, using the common sense, that basically we are being lied to, we are being conned on basic level really. global warming would actually be good, and that's what they wanted for a very long time. They were actually promoting, and they didn't even stop investigating it publicly until the mid-1960s, when in the mid-1960s, the National Science Foundation was putting forward suggestions on how to melt the Arctic by design. And there are many, many different examples we can draw on where this has been going on for many decades. This is a long-term plan, my friends, and basically they are using scientific techniques to control the weather and the climate, or at least modify it sufficiently that they can create the symptoms that will capture the human imagination with all the media hype and pressure to believe that we've got a problem they believe they can solve. And guess how they think they can solve it? By controlling the climate. So they admit they can control the climate. Professor David Keefe, who I've met and talked to, he says that, yes, absolutely, solar radiation management will work to create a thermostat. It will give them enormous leverage to control the planet's climate. Okay, he admits, he knows it will work. So they know they can control the climate. And we know that what we're seeing in the skies here, my friends, is something we haven't always seen. This is becoming the new normal. We're seeing cirrus cloud seeding. We're seeing new artificial types of clouds. We are seeing many more contrails than we've ever seen before. That is disproportionate to the increase in aircraft. We are seeing and witnessing a weather and climate modification program in place that's been in development for many years, since the Second World War, and it is all being hijacked. We are being hijacked. We are being asked to demand for climate change action plans. We are being demanded that we should be demanding from our governments that we want Agenda 21, sustainable development. That's what they want. They'll get all the big stars like Leonardo DiCaprio talking at the United Nations, you know, saying how bad the climate is and how we've got to man up and, you know, make the changes necessary to save the planet. Well, actually, Agenda 21 is all about enslaving the planet, the people of the planet. They're going to lock us down with horrendous technology that will monitor every single place we go. Everything will be controlled. It's time to wake up, my friends. The time is now.